Crisis Report. Did two on PrepperNow earlier. Did one on Crisis Report now. Sorry, this is a little bit later. We had a big day. It was basically celebration day for my son's 7th birthday. So we had a lot of kids and did a lot of stuff. Also made the big video for the gear review of the Opez Mega 1. Hopefully you will check that out. I'm also going to create a short for it and put that on other platforms. But yeah, we had a big day. It was you only turned 7 once, right? So we had a celebration today. Had friends over and did a bunch of stuff. Managed kids. We went swimming, did a pool party type thing. And then afterwards had pizza and cupcakes and yada, yada, yada. So happy little boy, happy little boy, happy little boy. So I'm very blessed. And you got to see him. You got to see him in the video of the whatchamacallit, the Opez Mega 1. So family and I, full family thing. That's basically the only time you'll see my family. Now, of course, I don't show their faces, but you saw my 11-year-old daughter and my 7-year-old son, and you get to hear from my wife. The 13-year-old is currently a recluse. So, but yeah, I'm very, very happy to have that Opez Mega 1. I got to tell you, it does everything you could want. Someone asked how long you could run a fridge on it. And from what it says, it's about 7 hours. So it takes a couple hours or 3, about 1.5 to 2, depending on how you charge it up. If you use 3 240-watt solar panels, then you can do it in about 1.5 to 2 hours. On a good day, of course, you need good sunlight. If you're doing it by a plug into electrical outlet, it takes about an hour. So pretty cool. So we've got it in our kitchen now. And I mean, I don't know about you, but it seems like the power is going out more and more. Now, it's just little blips. The power went out 2 nights ago. Wife and I were on a walk. Got a text message from my 13-year-old daughter who kind of manages the house when we're gone. She's like an 18-year-old. She's literally more mature than most of my students. And so I said, hey, power went out, but it came back on, so we're good. And so it just, power outages and all that kind of stuff are getting more common, I feel. And it's funny, I was thinking about this not too long ago. The further we get along, the more progress we get, it almost feels like the things more are coming undone, So it is what it is. But we are going to be talking tonight about the Israeli response to everything. The United States is angry. There's other stuff going on. Japan has had elections. It did not go well for the LDP, which is the party in charge, the Liberal Democratic Party. And it went very well for the right side of the political aisle. Same thing's happening all over. It is what it is. The left, the progressives are not satisfying people. So people are going the other way. And it's causing some pushback. But yeah, so other things, Russia and SMO is kind of intensifying a little bit. There's talk of a major drone attack. They want to do like thousands. We're going to get to that. I know I should make my titles like really doomy and stuff like that, but I can't do it. This channel, folks, is I have to keep it straight forward. I can do some doom over on PrepperNow because I can have a little bit of fun, here I really do like take it seriously. I do call the CAP course for a reason. And if you look at it, like general education, you've got 25 students in the classroom. AP, you only get like 12 or 13. I'm never going to get the numbers on this channel, so I just kind of decided, and I've had a lot of inner turmoil. I'm like, should I take this elsewhere? Should I go and do it through Substack? Should I go and do it through X? Because I mean, this if you've been around, this channel just gets the business hard. And honestly, I think it's because I do a good job and I get it a lot more earlier than many other people. So I kind of see it as a gem. And I've had this inner conversation. I talked to a subscriber. I said, hey, I want to take this over here. What do you think? He said, well, do it if you want. I just started to think about it afterwards. I really don't care about the compensation of this channel and what is made from it. This is like where I can stay pure in my mind, and I can stay like exactly true to form to what I like to do and everything. And PrepperNow is got a really good mojo going on right now. So I think I've decided I'm just going to let this channel just keep rolling the way it is. And if you could tell people about it, great. I want to keep it free. I don't want to have to, beg and charge and all this kind of stuff and take it over to a platform where like you have to pay to see it. I want to keep it here. And I hope that the people in the back, the computer system, which it really is, there's nobody back there. It's an algorithm. It's artificial intelligence. I hope to God at some point they will take the mushroom stamp off this channel and just let me and other channels I know. And there's a lot of other channels that are really getting frustrated because I start to talk to them now. I wish they would just kind of like let them be. Just let things be. Let's go back to a little bit more of an organic thing. But someone said it, and I think this is the trajectory. I don't know who said it in my comments, but they said, YouTube just wants to become TikTok. I think that's pretty much a nail on the head. So let's go anti-TikTok. Let's just do, no flashing, no visuals, no just straight up information that you guys can get the news, and it takes a little bit of time, and then you do with it what you will. Okay? All right. I'm sure I'll get someone, and that's the thing, like if someone comes in the comments like, dude, hurry up, or shut up, or just get to it, or whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't care. So put 8 minutes in the thing if you are so, busy that all that, and I'll just say where I start the intel. So here we go. Crisis report, July 20th, 2025. Happy birthday to my son. China releases a study that claims U.S. bunker buster bombs have a vulnerability because of the thinner steel sides, which could be penetrated by anti-aircraft shells. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, set to build 4 new factories, Fab 25, in the Central Taiwan Science Park later this year to produce super advanced 1.4 nanometer semiconductor wafers, aiming to make 50,000 wafers monthly and launch 2 nanometer wafers by late 2028. We're going to really have an interesting future between AI and all the power it needs to be created to do it, and all of the chips to come and go. I mean, there is a real race to power and to empower these things with the right tech that we're going to have to figure out, because the way we're going, it's that's why I think there's a lot of power stuff going on, and why you need to get your power kind of laid out. There's just a lot of things going on in the background that we're going to have to figure out as a society. Pope Leo XIV declared his first miracle, which a newborn from Rhode Island miraculously recovered from a critical condition in 2007 after the doctor prayed to Father Valera Parra, a 19th century priest and the patron of his hometown of southeastern Spain. This miracle potentially paves the way for the priest's sainthood. So, American Pope Leo doing his thing. Trump calls for John Thune to cancel August recess in order to get incredible nominees confirmed. He's trying to get the bench packed with some of his people. Hold on real quick. I know it's stupid, but it's a thing. Iran says it has replaced all air defense damage in Israeli war. A lot of hot rhetoric going on between Israel and Iran right now. And there is a proxy thing going on in Syria. We'll get to it. Trump says his poll numbers have gone up significantly since he exposed the Epstein hoax. And God bless America. That's one way to look at it. I've seen, polls that are terrible, but, polls are polls. They're crappy. They can manipulate them. I can tell you with my poli-sci degree, I've looked in the back and under the hood of some of these things. When you're polling 42% Democrat and 29% Republican, you're going to get a certain thing. So, I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. U.S. Department of Energy launches a pilot program to boost domestic production of advanced nuclear fuel. Elon Musk announced plans to launch Baby Grok, kid-friendly version of his AI chatbot. I see a future where the kids don't have any friends and they just have like a robot that they talk to. Kids are sitting out there today. We're doing our thing. It's post-pista. We're a little not quite ready for the cupcakes. And they're sitting around. They're like, what should we do? And we have woods behind us. I said, go play hide and seek. And they went and they played. And it was so glorious to see. Like just old school stuff. Had my daughter and her friend go out. They're a 2-team who went out against another 6 kids who were out in the woods. Just awesome. Trump threatens to put a restriction on Washington Commanders if they do not revert to their original name, the Washington Redskins, and says the Cleveland should do the same. Indians are being treated very unfairly. Make Indians Great Again, MIGA, which is totally what that stands for. It doesn't stand for anything else. MIGA. Trump threatens to put a restriction on... that's a doubler. We got doubled. Protests erupt again outside an asylum seeker hotel in Epping, UK. Protesters have been gathering at the hotel after an Ethiopian that had just arrived in the UK was charged with sexually assaulting a 14-year-old. I covered this 2 days ago. It's also in Essex, but it's just a larger problem that's going on over there, and they're going to have to deal with it. Because what's going to happen is what happened yesterday, which I covered, where a guy smacked a baby out of a dude's hands in the United Kingdom, and the men around him went freaking ballistic and tattooed this dude. And as I said then, and I'll say again, if that's what you're gonna do, you better be prepared to have a nice long stay somewhere with a lot of nurses. Protests erupt outside an asylum seeker. We got that. Ellen DeGeneres confirms that she left the U.S. because of Trump and is staying in the U.K. with a partner, Portia de Rossi. Good. Stay over there and don't come back. If you have to leave because the president is not the person you like, then you shouldn't be in this country in the first place. And you clearly don't understand the systems. He's got 3.5 more years. He'll move on, and then someone else will take over. Instead of running away, why don't you stay here and fix your really terribly polling Democrat Party? By the way, polls for the Democrat Party are the lowest since CNN has taken them and started in 1992. They're atrocious, and nobody likes them because, well, we don't really know what they stand up for anymore. Ellen DeGeneres confirms she left the U.S. because of Trump. Iran is going to hold nuclear talks with the UK, France, and Germany on Friday in Istanbul. Microsoft alerts users of active attacks on SharePoint server software used by government and business. Wow, Microsoft getting hacked. You could have saw that one. Japan's far-right party makes electoral gains, winning 16 seats, anti-globalist message, highlighting the increasing foreigners in Japan, suggesting a new constitution to restore some of the emperor's political powers and more. This is old school. 2022 leader Sohei Kamiya won a seat in the upper house of the parliament after saying he wouldn't sell out Japan to a certain form of capital. Pepsi Company, PepsiCo, announces it will eliminate artificial dyes and flavors from its Lay's and Tostitos chip products. Demonic Annabelle doll is mysteriously missing from the hotel room where the paranormal investigator Dan Rivera was found dead. Man, that story just gets weirder and weirder. Representative Tim Burchett says he has a strong suspicion that the Biden administration tampered with the Epstein files. Tulsi Gabbard says more files will be released next week, targeting those behind the Obama-era coup against Trump, calling for accountability, indictments, and prosecution. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly battling food poisoning, along with intestinal inflammation and severe dehydration. He ate something bad. Tucker Carlson has officially shut down speculation that he's planning to run in 2028. An American father who fled to Russia, flees to Russia with his family to escape, all the indoctrination, rainbow and such. Well, he's now been drafted to serve on the front lines of the Russian army. Welcome to Russia, buddy. It's almost like people should stay here and kind of fight things out on their own home turf instead of running away. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Texts and emails reportedly reveal that Clinton aides worked directly with Obama-era intelligence officials to orchestrate Trump-Russia hoax 2016. President Trump says it's time for Adam Schiff to pay the price for a real crime. FDA approved Moderna's new Rota shot while RFK was on vacation. Without his knowledge or approval, he was never briefed on the decision. Horror in Gaza. IDF killed 30 Palestinians while waiting for food aid, Times of Israel's reported. Russia has released video of Jaran 2 drone mass production plant in Tatarstan. Rare footage reveals the Alabuga plant's mass production of tens of thousands of deadly kamikaze drones designed to attack in relentless swarms. Jarans punch through Ukraine's defenses, outmaneuvering even F-16s. They are formidable. Brazil's President Lula, in response to U.S. President Trump's announcement of 50% tariffs on Brazilian exports, no gringo is going to give orders to Brazil. Pope Leo XIV, first time directly condemns Israel for the strike on the Catholic parish and the slaughter of Christians in Gaza. Tragic news continues to arrive in these days in the Middle East, especially from Gaza. I express my profound sadness regarding last Thursday's attack by the Israeli army on the Catholic parish of the Holy Family in Gaza City, which, as you know, killed 3 Christians and gravely wounded others. I pray for the victims: Saad Isa Kostandi Salameh, Fumia Isa Latif Ayad, Najwa Ibrahim Latif Abu Daoud. And I am particularly close to their families and to all the parishioners. Tucker Carlson said the U.S. is running out of options in Russia because its economy is not what we thought it was. He underestimated and just didn't really understand the nature of the Russian economy, Russian civilization. In the end, we hurt ourselves more than we hurt Russia. Let me clue friends in on a little bit. They are an old civilization. They've been there. They've done that. We're very new in our civilization over here in America. And history is important because it should tell you very firmly that when old civilizations are tested, they have a lot of history to draw upon. So, China included. So if you're going to do it, you better do it right. Socialist Muslim Omar Fateh officially wins Minneapolis Democratic Party endorsement for mayor. This guy looks like the dude that took over the ship, the Captain Phillips movie. Minneapolis, good luck. That's what's going on. You got all these socialist mayors and stuff getting in there, Good luck, because you're gonna F around and find out. Delta Boeing 767 engine bursts into flames after takeoff from LAX. Large cyber-scale attack against the U.S., Washington Post says. Several government agencies, corporations, universities, energy institutions, they have all been hacked. Servers of at least 2 U.S. federal agencies have been breached by hackers. Hackers allegedly exploited a critical flaw in Microsoft servers, giving the attackers backdoor access to U.S. federal and state agencies as well as energy firms. There's that Microsoft again. Jordan's tribes warn Israel over Syria. They stress that Jordanian tribes are not passive. They're rooted in history. Hey, look at that. And ready to act if needed. And any such would be met with swift tribal mobilization and a unified response. We know the shape of the battlefield and will act before words are needed. What's the first thing a communist country does to establish control, folks? That's right. They erase your history. Why is that? Because history is a common thread. It's a common bond. Israel is conducting negotiations with Hamas for the first time regarding the possibility of ending the war. Jordan says no to the Druze corridor. Jordan has refused to open its border as a humanitarian corridor for Druze in Syria. Israeli source confirms the rejection. Trump officials considered cutting SpaceX contracts, but they found most were too important. After a public fallout between Trump and Elon Musk, Trump aides launched a review in June of government contracts with SpaceX, seeking ways to cut ties with his companies. However, officials quickly found that most of the multi-billion-dollar agreements with the Pentagon and NASA were too critical to cancel. Review, led by the General Services Administration, or GSA, gathered detailed evidence or data from multiple agencies, including the Defense Department and NASA, to assess if alternatives to SpaceX existed. But the analysis revealed the company's dominant role in space launch services and satellite internet meant few viable replacements. So now that we're kind of in the middle of this whole thing, friends, we're brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you are looking for a gold or IRA for silver, Augusta Precious Metals, they're one of the highest rated in the business. There's an affiliate link in the description. If you are considering it, I would say check them out. They are very good at what they do. AugustaPreciousMetals.com. Syria misread U.S. Israeli signals before troop moves into Soweto. Syria believed it had quiet backing from the United States and Israel to deploy troops to the southern city of Soweto this week, an assumption that triggered deadly Israeli airstrikes and revealed serious miscalculations by Damascus. Syrian officials interpreted U.S. calls for unified Syrian state and recent quiet talks with Israel as tacit approval to reassert control over Soweto. But when Syrian forces entered the area, Israel struck back, citing protection of the Druze and concerns over a militarized south. German Major General Christian Freuding says Russia plans to launch up to 2,000 drones at once against Ukraine. Ukraine urgently needs low-cost anti-drone systems costing 2,000 to 4,000 euros each. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz admits Europe has free-ridden on defense, but says that it's changing. Istanbul will remain the venue for the round of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Japan's ruling LDP Komeito coalition loses upper house majority in the elections. White House officials are frustrated with Netanyahu's actions in Syria and Gaza. One called him a madman who bombs everything, risking Trump's efforts. Another said Trump called Bibi after Israel shelled a Gaza church and said, "What the F is going on?" Third said Bibi acts like a child who won't behave. Despite a U.S. brokered ceasefire, concern over Netanyahu is growing inside the Trump admin. Trump hasn't criticized him publicly yet. Netanyahu is found to be suffering from an intestinal inflammation following eating spoiled food. After further tests, Prime Minister's condition was declared good. If you ever get spoiled food, this is a little trick I learned when I had it once. Thankfully, only once. It's bad. Very syrupy sugar. Go to like a, like gas station, and you know how the fountain drinks, and if you like lightly push in, it gets real syrupy, and it'll put the syrup into your cup. Go there and get one of those, something like a Pepsi or a Coke, and make it real syrupy. And I have to tell you, someone told me that when I was going through it, and it fixed it. Like, it didn't make it better. Like, I still felt queasy, but it took all the major problems off. So, little tip. Israeli bombing of Syria surprised Trump. Trump doesn't like seeing bombs dropped on a country where he seeks peace. Issued an announcement regarding its reconstruction. Zelensky says Russian logistics must suffer significantly in response to Russia's prolonging the war. Kremlin, Putin received the senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, in the Kremlin. They discussed the escalation in the Middle East and the situation around the Iranian nuclear program. Israel-backed al-Hijri has issued a new statement demanding the complete withdrawal of government forces and allied tribal fighters from Soweto province. He also confirmed a prisoner swap set for this afternoon. This follows reports of the first clash. 4 defense ministry fighters were reportedly wounded by Druze snipers near Majdal in southern Soweto. U.S. official to Channel 12 says Israel's current policy will lead to an unstable Syria. Both the Druze and Israel will lose in such a scenario. Israel plans to transfer additional aid to the Druze in Soweto. Regional spokesperson said Gaza is living a tragic reality and has become a graveyard for children due to the world's negligence. Siege on Gaza and restrictions on aid entry can contribute to increasing deaths. Israel rejects many requests to bring in aid, which has led to what we see in the sector. Cast member for the Royal Opera House unfurled a Palestinian flag on stage during a curtain call on Saturday night. Official unsuccessfully tried to stop the performer. According to Turkish diplomatic sources, nuclear talks between Iran, UK, France, Germany are scheduled to take place in Istanbul on Friday. Negotiations between Russia and Ukraine are also expected to be held in the city later this week. Glinkovich also spoke about possible war against Russia and China by 2027 in this article that is linked. You got one right there. See how it pops down there in the bottom left over there? See that? Yep, these are all in the Substack. Just got another paid subscriber. We're growing. We are just 1 or 2 away from 500. Substack is great because you get all the links in the description and everything else, and it's a full transcript. So for years now, people come, oh, BS. And I'll be like, nope, I've got it here. Here's the citation. Here's everything. It's a full transcript. Every single time, a person said, oh, you know what you're talking about. You're getting that out of you're pulling it out of the ether. I can directly link it to some form of something. And it's usually a mainstream source. So U.S.-led NATO alliance must prepare for the possibility that Russia and China could launch wars in Europe and the Pacific simultaneously, with 2027 being a potential flashpoint year. Top American commander in Europe said Thursday, "We're going to need every bit of kit and equipment and munitions that we can in order to beat that," Grinkovich said. If China's President Xi Jinping makes a move on Taiwan, he likely would coordinate with such an attack and Russian President Vladimir Putin, opening the possibility of a global conflict, he said. That to me means that both of these things could happen together, said Grinkovich, who also served as NATO Supreme Allied Commander. Gosh, I doubled that too. Sorry. German Major General Christian Freuding, head of the Bundeswehr Ukraine Situation Center, stated that Nachgefragt podcast that Moscow aims to reach the capability of launching 2,000 drones simultaneously against Ukraine. Emphasized that it is much more effective to intercept Shahed-type drones, which cost about 30 to 50 grand each, using Patriot air defense missiles, which cost over 5 million euros per unit. Instead, what's needed are more defense systems costing around 2,000 to 4,000 euro per shot. However, General Freuding stressed that the most effective way to counter Russia's drone terror is through deep retaliatory strikes, targeting Russian bases, airfields, aircraft, defense plants, and production centers. Secretary of Defense update on DoD's cloud services. This story from China, where they're basically doing all of our data stuff, said for the past 10 years, the DoD has been operationally compromised by the Chinese. It's true. Australians will have to seek permission from an indigenous corporation to enter large parts of their own country after exclusive native title was granted for the first time in Victoria. During the Cold War, one of the basic differences between the West and USSR, and for that matter, between the West and China today, is that citizens could legally go anywhere in their own country at free will. Saudis are utterly pissed at the Israelis for attacking Syria. Saudi foreign minister called Rubio and said that Syrian army must be allowed to deploy in the south and Israel shouldn't dictate the terms. For the first time since at least 2005, U.S. nuclear weapons have been deployed onto the territory of the United Kingdom, with sources reporting several B-61-12 thermonuclear gravity bombs were transferred this week from the U.S. Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center at Kirtland Air Base in New Mexico. Kirtland, not Kirkland. Kirtland Air Base in New Mexico, in the newly built nuclear weapons storage facility at RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk, England. B-6112 is an advanced low-yield tactical nuclear gravity bomb that is able to be equipped by a number of aircraft, including the F-35A Lightning II, which is flown by both 493rd Fighter Squadron and 495th Fighter Squadron based in Lakenheath. End of the U.S. dominance. China leads as the world splits into three blocks. Global order is shifting fast. Trade wars, sanctions, fading dollar dominance reveal a declining U.S. and a rising multipolar world. South China Morning Post has reported. Key elements. Dollar decline. Global reserve share, 71% in 2000, 60% today. Countries ditching the dollar amid tensions. Trump's tariffs backfiring, eroding U.S. economic power. China, USA, Russia, new global rankings. China's number 1, US 2, Russia 3. Power index of tech, economy, military. Emerging macro regions. As power shifts from the US to China, 3 blocks are forming. Americas, US-led, seeking self-sufficiency. Eurasia, Russia-China alliance. Western Europe, EU, facing internal weakening. And the future, well, fragmented world order, maybe. By 2032, trade flows may reconfigure drastically, favoring regional blocks over globalization. China's Belt and Road Initiative positions it as the new gravitational center, while the U.S. resorts to reactive measures, tariffs, military strikes, to delay its decline. Takeaway, the era of U.S. hegemony is fading. Eurasia's rise is reshaping the world. And the future for Cuba is even bleaker than that of Belarus or Moldova. Cuba is even poorer than either of these examples, has similar high immigration, and has a fertility rate that may fall close to 1.0 this year. Elderly population is going to skyrocket, little youth base to support. Island saw, by the end of 2024, a population of 9,748,532 inhabitants, close to that of 4 decades ago, and 335,000 fewer citizens than in 2023. From just 2020 to 2023, 400,000 Cubans emigrated. By 2030. Those 59 plus will be 30% of the total population. So as you can see, there's problems. If you want to see what a communist country looks like post-op, go take a look at Cuba. It's all... I don't know how to put it. We're just kind of in a holding pattern right now. You know, this is a time when you want to prep, because you're in between wars, especially in the Middle East. Things are getting ready to ramp up again, though. They're getting ready. They're training. You know, they're just getting ready for major global gravity shaking stuff. And we'll be here to cover it all, friends, here on the Crisis Report. This is your Crisis Report for July 20th, 2025. God bless you all. This message is brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. And we have just partnered on this channel with the Opez Mega 1. The link will be in the description if you'd like to go check it out. They've got a big deal coming up on the 23rd and 24th. And I can tell you, as I reviewed it, it's a great piece of machinery. So, I literally haven't heard a bad thing yet. So, we'll see. All right, friends, God bless you all. Hit the links in the description. Join us elsewhere. Join us on Gab and Minds and Truth and X. Join us on Rumble. Started making videos. It's been a couple days, but I made about 10 in a row. One a day, Join us there. Then, of course, there's the super secret channel. So, join us there if you like. More PrepperNow going all over, man. If you want to become a member here, like Water Tiger or Stealth Mode or stuff, it really does help. The more members I have, the less they tend to mess with me. Like last week I had a video taken down, and they never explained what happened to it or where it went. So help me fight the good fight, friends. I appreciate you. Other than that, God bless, and we will see you on the next one. You guys have a great Monday.